This is forward 3. The gantries are retracting at Gamma launch site. They're at full power and counting down to lift. Salvage operation. This is forward 1. You're running out of time. Target Gamma is nearly powered up.
Take out the APU gantries as soon as possible. If the dropstick gets powered up, it'll bring its main guns online. Omega left. We're getting cargo secured. As soon as we're ready to lift, we need to get on board as quickly as possible. Now tracking multiple targets inbound.
Got him on radar, Stroll. Moving to intercept.
Oh no! We're... meters altitude. Telemetry indicates input eject.
Roger that, Control. We'll keep walking.
This is a query. We're on him. Lead the way, sir. It's a pleasure to fight with you at last.
Omega lead, ejecting.
Roger, Control.
Omega, this is Control. We should lift off of the second dropship. Orders?
This is forward 3. The gantries are retracting at Gamma launch site. They're at full power and counting down to lift. Salvage operation. This is forward 1. You're running out of time. Target Gamma is nearly powered up.
Take out the APU gantries as soon as possible. If the dropstick gets powered up, it'll bring its main guns online. Omega left. We're getting cargo secured. As soon as we're ready to lift, we need to get on board as quickly as possible. Now tracking multiple targets inbound.
Got him on radar, Stroll. Moving to intercept.
Oh no! We're... meters altitude. Telemetry indicates input eject.
Roger that, Control. We'll keep walking.
This is a query. We're on him. Lead the way, sir. It's a pleasure to fight with you at last.
Omega lead, ejecting.
Roger, Control.
Omega, this is Control. We should lift off of the second dropship. Orders?
This is forward 3. The gantries are retracting at Gamma launch site. They're at full power and counting down to lift. Salvage operation. This is forward 1. You're running out of time. Target Gamma is nearly powered up.
Take out the APU gantries as soon as possible. If the dropstick gets powered up, it'll bring its main guns online. Omega left. We're getting cargo secured. As soon as we're ready to lift, we need to get on board as quickly as possible. Now tracking multiple targets inbound.
Got him on radar, Stroll. Moving to intercept.
Oh no! We're...
Attention to the paper doll. Make sure you guys are shooting the correct legs. Be careful of the collisions. I don't want to hear complaints about it. Work around surrounded. Let's play this game.
I need another heavy. I've got TB and a quick draw.
I want to get fairly tight to it. Now, anybody who's going to be working range, I'm going to need you to fade right on this. If anybody's running short, he's going to stay towards the top of the caldera if we're going to come at him.
I have you in the Griff. Griffin.
Sounds good.
Well, that's the thing. We got to get to brawling range, so I may be moving us, right up to the hoop if we have to.
Wolverine nach Charlie 4.
It's fine, chill the f*** out, man. It's fine, it's just a 5-star.
Kommt Leute, redet miteinander.
15 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't die. 15 seconds, don't die.
Guys. 3, 2, 1.
Charlie Dar, CT, yellow. Okay, go get Charlie, see if we can get it.
There. To your left, there's a. Acceleration.
So, jetzt gleich hinter die Indie-Pocken,
Mediums be prepared to pull back E40 towards the E5 border. On my mark.
Left side, come on! Like now, I need strikes on empty barrel. Wire our strikes up.
Die Hauptgruppe rechts, Uferlinie.
They have 3 mechs sitting on the left side when you pass over.
Overheating is bad.
Both legs on the Griffin. Hit the Griffin.
Sorry about that. That was such a
That's right. I'm gonna spawn Lance, you guys in Charlie, Lance, you guys in Bravo. That's B2C1.
This third drop is 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults.
Jetzt in die Breite, zieht euch in die Breite.
Lights, watch our backs. We're gonna about base and take up position in Bravo 6.
Ja, kurz Aufschaltung Delta 4, 3 Stück, 2 Mediums einleiten, wie ich es richtig gesehen habe.
Make a firing line.
C4 Tactical Hill, boys.
Fox.
Laufen unter ECM, hab 2 durchlaufen, 10 Bravo 4.
And get ready to hit people coming from a right.
Charlie on the left. Charlie, a Hellbringer on the left.
Okay, let's group up towards the left. We're gonna press through Bravo 3 to Bravo 4. I think they're kind of spread out.
Check yourselves. Make sure you've got UAV cool shot.
Here they come. They're pushing hard, guys.
Deco. Tez on.
Go.
Oh, got a contact here, Bravo 3.
Nice, Marshall. I'm on Delta Griffin.
Well, you cross it then. Get in their face. They got a highlighter. They just push up on Theta. We need help on Theta. Up on Theta.
Yep, that's the noise. Go. Let's finish this.
Full pressure, guys. Full pressure. They're down low. They're down low in Charlie 3.
Get the fucking arm, Jackson.
Jackson, cool shot.
Golf. I got him.
Okay, go.
Go, B3, go.
Echo, go. Get over on your medium, guys. Get Echo Stormcrow.
God, I suck as a pilot, but thank I packed my skill. I'm sorry that you died, sweet girls, but we will send a reasonably nice letter to your family.
And we're live.
Morning everyone, or evening, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for joining us at what is an early hour for some and a late hour for others for another week of MRBC. Tonight we've got a top of the table clash between JGX, 1st Jaguar Guards, and PHL Phoenix Legion. Both these teams had results that were considered unexpected by a lot of people in the community. JGX with a 5-0 victory in Week 1 against White Death Mercenary Company, and PHL with an unexpected 3-2 victory over Eon Synergy.
Oh, and but I forgot to enter the previous results. Just a second. keep on.
So today we'll be going through a few things. Number one, we've got a bit of a sneak preview for one of the teams, showing some video highlights of the match between JGX and White Death Mercenary Company last week. And following that, we'll be going on to the main show with two teams. I have the lobby created and waiting for word from both team captains. We also have 3 giveaways we're giving tonight. So in a bit of a departure, we won't be going for the premium time and the MC and the mech bay. We'll instead be going for 3 different MC giveaways. 2 1,250 MC giveaways, and to end the night off, a 3,000 MC giveaway.
Okay, so first of all, we're going to show you replays of White Death Mercenary Corporation against JGX, which happened on the previous week. So let's get started on that. Unfortunately, we weren't able to record these battles with sound, so you're just gonna sit and watch without it. That's radio casting.
No, I mean, I can sit there and go pew 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 pew.
Yeah, pretty much, but that's not a good idea. So again, if you were with us on previous week, you know that matches were held mostly on hot maps. So in the first like 2 or 3 drops, everybody was wending straight up brawl. As you can see, Jaguars went almost full brawl with like Stormcrows, Linebackers, Nova, and surprisingly ATM Night Gear for them. White Death Mercenary tried to take some sort of range like Dragon. Bushwhacker probably wasn't also on brawl. Hunchback to CC, also most likely not brawling one. So they had like some medium range, but and as you can see, they're just like doing some damage while JGX is coming through that center of the map. And unfortunately for them, they weren't able to focus almost nobody so far. Like Drager is 57% on his Nova, but overall, every other mech of JGX is pretty much undamaged, and they're already in that close range. So Drager finally goes down, but percent quickly drops on Kahave on the cheetah for White Death.
And I almost feel that was a tactical sacrifice, sacrificing Dargor in order to force him to overextend, because at the 1 minute 16 mark on the video, you look at JGX with that perfect concave, and White Death Mercenary Company, for their point of view, had 3 mechs that were just clearly able to be targeted, with 4 other mechs unable to actually put any fire on at all at
yes,
time.
Also, as you can see, JGX doing their focus fire really well, almost like that. White Death Mercenary just like made a line of mechs, and JGX was just focusing them one by one. That's pretty much what happened. And of course, now it's like 2 versus 6, so no chance for White Death, unfortunately.
And the thing is, we saw in Drop 2 last week with Eon versus Phoenix Legion just how important having those lights late game if the result doesn't go the way you want.
Yes, you always can try to go for caps or be more effective against damaged enemies.
In particular with the machine gun meta, it's the late game strategy of holding your lights out and not throwing them into the fight initially. You know, maybe sacrificing a little bit of scouting, but being able to deal immense amounts of damage in the late game.
Yes, when everybody is pretty much open. So also we can see that on percents, first Jaguar guards were like 50 to 70, so great damage spreading on that one. As for damages, nothing really much outstanding aside from that ATM Niger, which was piloted by Data. Okay, next one we have the Caustic Wally Conquest on the 3rd drop. As we can see, of course, 2 Nigers from JGX, on their favorite build with Gauss and Fourier large lasers. Wolverine 6k, also large lasers, Direwolf, Dragon, again long ranged, and as far as I remember, they had like only a dual BX-20 Hunchback standing up front on the Caldera. Also, JGX were running the PPC Summoner with like 4 small pulses, if I remember correctly. So despite PPCs being nerfed, they can put some more damage now with those like backup lasers. And for how battle goes right now, we can see that YDS Mercenary just going into Caldera, trying to approach JGX. But they're not really in the good max for this, so they most likely have those dual LBX-20 Warhammers that just struggle to get into range to all of those air large lasers.
I think it's really telling that if you look right around the start of the main proper brawl, they've got 3 mechs, you know, the Huntsman, the Stormcrow, and the Warhammer, who are, you know, right up away from everyone else, and yet the rest of the team are all sitting back in almost Overwatch, trying to invite JGX to overextend.
And now mechs just start dropping down as YDS runs into the open. Everybody is like red or yellow, aside from like one Warhammer and one Dragon, which doesn't really matter already because JGX just putting immense focus fire on those mechs.
I think one of the things that we saw in Worlds in particular was that if you allow JGX to dictate the terms of the engagement, they will punish you. If you force them to adapt, they can struggle, but if you try playing their game in the way that they've set up, they will stick to that plan very comprehensively. Like, their focus fire has always been really strong as a unit.
But fortunately for you, you almost 100% sure that you know that they're playing long range. Like, it's almost impossible for them to try something else, especially on like more heavier drops. And we'll see it a little bit later on. So right now, just like JGX cleaning up the remaining forces of YDS. Some lag goes on the video, unfortunately. That's not live stream, that's the video lag voice recording. Also quite interesting that both teams decided to take Direwolf for this one. Not like King Crab as we usually see.
Yes and no. I mean, I expect JGX to take a Direwolf because a Direwolf is a mech designed to hold a choke point and just put down massive amounts of firepower while remaining largely static.
Okay.
That's the sort of playstyle that fits in with it.
Going into drop 4, JGX taking something interesting. We see those Annihilators one piece. They are equipped with 5 ER large lasers. That's actually an interesting build, and I actually was really surprised that they were able to hold off YDS over here. So YDS just bringing two standard Annihilators like Dragon, Niger, Cheetahs, Huntsman, Arctic Wolf, and just pushing into YDS. But if you push into that open, as we've seen on the previous games, you just get really easily focused from some side. So yes, Data and Boss are at 64%, Dragger is slightly damaged, but we already can see one Annihilator from YDS almost dead. And now they just keep closing the distance, Jaguars just keep falling back. So far it's more or less even, but as we can see, Niger of YDS is already very red, Huntsman also into orange. So again, you can just focus fire really good if you back off and enemy just keep pushing without like standing for a second and regrouping their forces. Finally, mechs started to drop down because it's like a little bit more heavier, so it takes time to kill mechs in this drop. So I was actually quite surprised because this map is really hot and JGX is still going with like full ER large lasers on this one.
I think there's a bit of flashback to when they comprehensively beat C28 Blackwatch on this very map last season during Worlds. If you recall that drop 2 where they just pressed aggressively straight from the get-go and caused Blackwatch to almost panic and not adapt the way that we normally see them.
Yes, but not this case because they were pushed themselves with like medium and close range, but it didn't work out really well.
Right, it's weird because normally they would push out around the Epsilon side initially and hold there and dictate the terms of battle from there, but in this case they actually pushed through the left-hand side of approaching the Stargate and then had to rotate
That's pretty much. So as we can see, it's like 5-3 because one annihilator is stripped. Dragon is most likely also lost his arm already, judging by percent. So it's just like cheat left, which is getting beat down by those 3 mechs of GGX. What Whitedesk could try to do in this drop is just focus heavies and assaults. But as we can see, one summoner will live to the end of the game, so no bonus points from this one, unfortunately.
Oh, bonus points at least, and those bonus points are such an important game changer. I mean, you look at how close that match between Phoenix Legion and Eon was last week.
Yes, of course.
It was literally 100 rep that separated them.
Yeah, with one team like winning one game from another, and it's still just like 100 reputation because Eon were able to get bonus points for the third drop. So in terms of damage, we can see like I would like to pause on the damages and just to emphasize that some mechs on this drop were able to put such humongous damage because if you get another side torso, it's usually a very big boost because all of its arm structure also goes into your account. So in drops where you can see annihilators, it's no surprise that 1 or 2 member from your team gets like over 600 damage or something like that, because it's almost impossible on higher like rankings to kill annihilator purely in CT.
And the other thing I'm noticing here is just how disciplined JGX were in falling back into the starport and using that wide open space, so that the second White Death mercenary mech poked out, it was just destroyed.
On this actually map, you don't even need to scout, because if enemy drops like all 4 mechs into that spot closer to like that, oh, how you call it?
The Epsilon
yeah, no, I mean if you drop close to pit, the one like which is where you can drop I don't know how to call it properly in English. So you just see 4 mechs there, you know that there will be a push into your side. You just set up and receive pretty much. Okay, so for the 5th drop we can see JGX bringing the same 2 Annihilator one piece. Of course, Supernova, Marauder 2C, probably also on 5-year large lasers, yes. And Summoner, Nightjar, Wolfhound, and Arctic, and nothing surprising over here. White Death takes, like, again, 2 Annihilators, Marauder, first Medkit Mark II, Nightjar, and Hellbringer. So overall, aside from like those difference in terms of Annihilators, teams are more or less even on what they bring. But as you can see, JGX just falling very deeply into their port side. And they just set up and ready to receive White Death push, because like they know they have Dark Annihilators, they know that they're coming. So we're just gonna set up a fire line and shoot at some of them crossing the bridge, which probably was a really bad idea from White Death, because it's just like easy shots and you're still not in range of your guns.
And if you're pressing in on assault mechs, you really have to take advantage of the fact they have limited torso pitch. And
yes, and Marauder to seal from White Death already into the red. Some other mechs are also pretty much damaged. Arctic cheated 52%, so he got really damaged while approaching and scouting what JGX have. And mechs already start dropping from VDMC side, and there is no way White Death can just easily push into the open onto those Annihilators, Nightjars, and other nasty large laser stuff. They sent lights pretty much for suicide run. Arctic lost most of his arms already, so he's not really dangerous right now. And JGX just finishing mechs in those buildings on the pretty much entry point of the airport.
Like I said, I think the key thing there was JGX's fire discipline was what won the match. Knowing where to set up, in response to the enemy setup, knowing how to respond to that in fading back and forcing the Op4 to push through those buildings one by one just into massed fire that they can't possibly twist out of.
And to be honest, from all the trainings that we have and from all the drops I've seen, it's not really the best idea to bring just straight up 2 Duck Annihilators in order to win this drop. Because, as I said, on high level, those Annihilators gets focused really hard and really easily.
Well, there's also the fact that they have a very tall profile, which if you're trying to play a peak game can be a penalty. And they're also, because they're so slow, they're very much suited to a static style of play, but it's slow moving and not really prone to having to reposition quickly.
Okay, so I guess now we do our giveaway.
And we've adjusted the sound this week, so it won't deafen everyone the second it plays.
Okay, so let's just load the viewers. Again, it's 1215 C codes we're giving away 2 today, and at the end we're gonna give out 1300 FC code.
So if you win the giveaway, please make sure you whisper myself, Daidachi, in Twitch, and I will send you the gift code.
Okay, I'm starting the animation. Igor Kozarev, 1215 C. I'm pretty sure he should be around.
I would hope so.
Okay, so we're going to take a very fast break to set the lobby, set the teams up, and when everything is ready, we should be back just like in 5 minutes or so.
You're running out of time. Target gamma is nearly powered up.
Take out the APU dancers as soon as possible. If the dropship gets powered up, it'll bring its main guns online.
Omega left. We're getting cargo secure. As soon as we're ready for lift, we need to get on board as quickly as possible. Now tracking multiple targets inbound. We've got them on radar, Control. Moving to intercept.
Oh no!
We're...
Telemetry indicates this would eject.
Roger that, Control. We'll keep them off you. This is the query. We're on them. Lead the way, sir. It's a pleasure to fight with you at last. lift off of the second dropship. Orders?
This is forward 3. The gantries are retracting at Gamma launch site. They're at full power and counting down to lift. Salvage operation. This is forward 1. You're running out of time. Party Gamma is nearly powered up.
Take out the APU gantries as soon as possible. If the dropship gets powered up, it'll bring its main guns online.
Omega Left, we're getting cargo secured. As soon as we're able to lift, we need to get on board as quickly as possible. We're now tracking multiple targets inbound.
Got him on radar, Soul. Moving to intercept.
Oh no!
We're... meters altitude. Telemetry indicates input eject.
Roger that, Control. We'll keep walking.
This is the query. We're on him. Lead the way, sir. It's a pleasure to fight with you at last.
Omega lead. Ejecting.
Roger, Control. Omega, this is Control. We should lift off of the second dropship. Orders?
This is forward 3. The gantries are retracting at Gamma launch site. They're at full power and counting down to lift. Salvage operation. This is forward 1. You're running out of time. Party Gamma is nearly powered up.
Take out the APU gantries as soon as possible. If the dropship gets powered up, it'll bring its main guns online.
Omega Left, we're getting cargo secured. As soon as we're able to lift, we need to get on board as quickly as possible. We're now tracking multiple targets inbound.
Got him on radar, Soul. Moving to intercept.
Oh no!
We're...
To the paper doll. Make sure you guys are shooting the correct legs. Be careful of the collisions. I don't want to hear complaints about it. Work around it. Let's play this game.
I need another heavy. I've got TB and a quick draw.
I want to get fairly tight to it. Now, anybody who's going to be working range, I'm going to need you to fade right on this. And when anybody's running short, we're going to stay towards the top of the caldera if we're going to come at them.
I have you in the Griff.
Sounds good.
Well, that's the thing. We got to get to brawling range, so I may be moving us, right up to the hoop if we have to.
Wolverine nach Charlie 4. It's fine, chill the out, man. It's fine. It's just a fire starter. Komm, Leute, redet miteinander.
15 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't die. 15 seconds, don't die.
Guys. 3, 2, 1.
Charlie Jar, CT, yellow. Okay, go to Charlie, see if we can get it.
There. To your left, there's a... Acceleration.
So, jetzt gleich hinter die Indie-Pocken,
Mediums be prepared to pull back E40 towards the E5 border. On my mark.
Left side, come on! Like now, I need strikes on empty barrels. Wire are strikes up.
Die Hauptgruppe rechts, Uferlinie.
They have 3 mechs sitting on the left side when you pass over.
Overheating is bad.
Both legs on the Griffin. Get the Griffin!
Sorry about that. That was such a
That's right. I'm gonna spawn Lance you guys in Charlie, Lance you guys in Bravo. That's B2C1.
This third drop is 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults.
What's in die Breite? Ziehen Sie dann in die Breite?
Lights, watch our backs. We're gonna about base and take up position in Bravo 6.
Ausschaltung Delta 4 3 Stück, 2 Medium sein, leid, wie ich das richtig gesehen habe.
Make a firing line.
C4 Tactical Hill, boys.
Fox, Fox.
Laufen unter ECM, hab 2 durchlaufen, 10 Bravo 4.
And get ready to hit people coming from a right.
Charlie on the left, Charlie, Hellbringer on the left.
Okay, let's group up towards the left. We're gonna press through Bravo 3 to Bravo 4. I think they're kind of spread out.
Check yourselves, make sure you've got, UAV cool shot.
Here they come, they're pushing hard, guys.
Deco. Tez on.
Go.
Oh, got a contact here, Bravo 3.
Nice, Marshall. I'm on Delta Griffin.
Well, you cross it then. Get in their face. They got a highlighter, they just pushed up on Theta. We need help on Theta. Up on Theta.
Yep, that's the noise. Go. Let's finish this.
Full pressure, guys, full pressure. They're down low. They're down low in Charlie 3.
Get the fucking arm, Jackson!
Jackson, cool shot. Golf. I got him.
Okay, go, P3, go.
Echo, go. Get over on your medium, guys. Get Echo Stormcrow.
God, I suck as a pilot, but thank I packed my skill. I'm sorry that you died, sweet girls, but we will send a reasonably nice letter to your family.
Telemetry indicates a good eject.
Roger that, Control. We'll keep them off you. This is McQuarrie. We're on him. Lead the way, sir. It's a pleasure to fight with you at last.
Omega lead.
And we're live again.
Welcome back, folks. So we are currently waiting on one team to accept the lobby invitation. So in the meantime, we're just going to have a quick breeze through the maps, strategies that we have seen in the past from these teams, strategies we might expect to see, and some discussion of the team's form. So starting off with Phoenix Legion, I don't think anyone can talk about the unit without discussing their unexpected victory for everyone, well, unexpected to everyone except them, victory against Eon last week. As Mr. Petzold's predictions on Reddit said, this has been, quite comprehensively the second best team in the world for the last 2+ years. And in drops 1 and 2, Phoenix Legion ruthlessly exploited every single weakness they could. Any mistimed push, any pilot that was out of position, instantly was seized on.
And here is why I think this matchup can be very interesting, because PHL is a team that's known to be able to adapt to their enemies pretty much and use some unexpected, no, I wouldn't say unexpected strategies. Everybody knows they can go for like caps and stuff like that. But if you're taking very slow, very long range deck, it might be really hard to counter such type of gameplay. So I'm really looking forward to see what PHL will pull out today against the team which will almost surely be playing all long range on every map aside from the first one. Probably some Pop-Tarts, probably fast brawling on like second drop, probably something more interesting. We will see about that. Okay, so we got the second team, waiting for everybody to ready up and start getting into the action. So first drop is going to happen on Polar Highlands, Domination as usual. So 4 lights, 4 mediums, and my bet we're going to see a lot of medium pulses right now. I'm not sure that even JGX will be bringing some sort of like medium range laser one, like 200 back to 6 or something like that. I'm pretty sure everybody will be bringing a lot of SRMs, machine guns, and medium pulses to this one.
I would say if you see Krasnovisky and temporary access and drop, they're almost certain to use lasers rather than SRMs, just because of the hit reg issues on EU servers.
Yes, everybody's... Well, I would say that medium pulses are on every map, aside from like very hot, are preferred to SRMs because you can sit a little bit at range against your own enemies, even if you're like in brawl distance to each other. You can focus fire much better, and damage to hit isn't really that much worse than on SRMs, and they don't require armor. So for the most part, aside from very hot maps like on previous week, I presume we're gonna see mostly medium pulses on the first and second drop, and of course machine gun lights all the way.
Yeah, I agree, especially when you consider the maps involved this week. You know, Polar for drop 1, Alpine Peaks, Frozen City, Crimson Strait, Rubelite Oasis. Other than drop 5, nothing is hot at all, and even Rubelite in the recent past got a heat adjustment.
Yeah, but it was only after the previous week games, so it still was very hot on the previous week. But yeah, we're going to have like fifth drops on this week also on Rubelite. So on previous week we had like first drop on Rubelite. On this week we have fifth drop on Rubelite. And thing is, I've never yet seen a single game on this map like competitively, aside from like first drop, which is Steel Brawl, and I'm really tempted to see what teams will be bringing on this map and how they're gonna try to play, because it's a really great map, I guess, for competitive, because there's so many opportunities you can play on it, so many positions you can take, you can try, and I'm really looking forward for fuse drops on this game.
Okay, both teams have 8 pilots.
Yeah, I'm pretty much waiting for everybody to pick their mechs and ready up. Also, I'm quite interested on what team's gonna be bringing on second drop. I've seen actually JGX bringing some sort of... Oh, sorry, I'm mistaking it with another game. Don't mind me. I'm stupid a little bit. Okay, so yeah, JGX locked. PHL setting up for their drops, and we're about to hit the drop in like a few moments from now.
A lot of people say that JGX just do ER large, but I have seen them do other things. They just prefer to play ranged. When the occasion warrants, they can play close in, but...
I mean, we've seen push from them on second drop on previous week. We've just were showing up. And, I mean, it is possible to try to hold and play range like with dragons and Yuak-2 Night Gears and stuff like that, but if enemy takes like heavy brawl, it will be really hard to shut them down with damages those mechs cannot put, because they are very limited and the damage you can deal while enemies are pushing at you. Yeah, so we've seen like Lizzie doing crazy damage on Dragon on that drop, but overall AC2s are not really a great weapon against like pushing enemies. Yeah, Lash is more good because you can more easily focus legs on those mechs or CT.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing, like without speaking to JGX, I can't confirm this for sure, but I think there's also an element of pride in how well they do long range trading compared to other teams.
Yep. I'm actually really disappointed I haven't seen their game against Eon on World Championships, because like both teams really like long range. Like Eon are playing usually like mix of medium and long range, but I'm pretty sure that against JGX they would have banned almost exclusively long range too. So that's another game I would really like to see on this season of MRBC. Because like this, two of the best long teams in the world, and
both teams are locked.
Teams are locked, so yeah, launch it today.
Launching. For those unaware, we have a number of upcoming casts happening as well. Just while we're loading in, we have Eyes versus Sloppy 40 Seconds happening. NA 2200 EDT on the MRBC League 1 channel. Then on the 22nd, Lasblast, who's just joined us, will be casting E Division D, first Tikhonov Rangers versus Snow Leopard Company. And Just Call Me Ash and a special guest commentator will be commenting Goon versus Davian Strike Force on the 22nd at 2100 EDT.
I'm still gonna watch this much.
How many ha-has can you see in one drop?
All of them. Okay, switching to game overlay. No radio casts anymore.
No radio casts, no radio casts.
Okay, so I'm going after JGX first.
No worries, I'm just looking at PHL. No surprises, duplicate mislinks for Phoenix Legion. Huntsman, Wolfhound, Assassin 23, Yay 23, Arctic Cheetah, Stormcrow, and Nova Prime.
For JGX, they actually took a Firestarter, which is a little bit surprising. Also, as for mediums, there is like no surprise for Nova, but Stormcrow is an interesting one, and it's 12 small push Stormcrow actually. That's more surprising. And Nova is on heavy smalls, Hunchback is on medium pulses, and Bushwhackers is SRMs. So I was a little bit wrong about those medium pulses prediction because
yeah.
On
well,
JGX,
even on the PHL side, they're running a 12 small pulse Stormcrow as well.
One thing about this map, you can actually try to force enemy to push them into the open into you. So you usually have time to react with medium pulses and down like 1 or 2 megs while they're coming at you over those hills in the middle of the map.
So instant strikeout on the dish, not hitting anyone from JGX. Phoenix Legion taking a bit more of a measured line, but Wolfhound's doing a good job of constantly moving, so it's not being one spot too long.
And we don't have any sort of like lasers to force enemies into the push. Everybody is just straight up on very, very, very close range, so not even a Hunchback on laser vomit or something like that. So at some point teams will just have to push into each other.
I think PHL are going to make the push first, purely looking at their positioning and also looking at the fact that JGX do have a 1 second advantage on the clock. And it started.
Yep, there we go. PHL pushing over that hill. Nova probably gonna get focused first on this one.
Yep, I agree.
It's already 80%, 79, 65 black down. And they're actually focusing arms on it. Oh, there we go.
Bushwhacker going down, he's down.
So just 1-1 for both teams. Struggle from Phoenix Legion going down really soon, it seems. Yes.
Yeah, if you look at A-Rend, he's really dropping down fast and he's down.
So 2 for 2, 3 for 2. Krasnoperski on his Wolfhound is also very damaged. Down he goes. A little bit better focus so far from Phoenix Legion. That next.
Agree.
And it seems like Phoenix Legion just outfocused them a little bit. Firestarter
I think Boss just overheated.
Actually, PHL were bringing some flamers on their mechs.
Yeah, I saw one of their huntsmen had 2 flamers in addition to his SRMs.
Archita also had flamer. So it's now 5v2.
And temporary access is lagged and about to go down.
And Pashi is the last one standing for JGX. So really solid focus from PHL, despite losing the Nova very fast and moving into the open, allowing JGX to start the initial focus a little bit faster.
I always think that on drop 1 in particular, there's an advantage to be had from being the aggressor, as long as you actually commit to it. Sitting back and receiving doesn't work as well when you don't have Overwatch fire to worry about.
And as we can see, only like two max doing more than 300 damage overall, again, more or less even on both teams. So in terms of max, it's 3 to 8.
And to be honest, it's about what we expected. One team to gather up and eventually work out, okay, we need to be one aggressing, they're not going to push over into us, we just need to commit to it hard. And that's the difference you see in a comp team that's operating, particularly one that's actually drilled together constantly. The fact that teams will actually commit to pushes and focus targets, not just the first one, as we've seen in some of those lower division matches, where the first mech gets identified and focused, but the focus fire drops off after that. For both teams, the focus fire just kept going non-stop. Like, one target died and everyone switched over to the next target.
Okay, let's switch to map strat really quickly.
So, no real surprises from Phoenix Legion pushing across that hotel line, gathering up just outside.
This hill, yeah.
Yep.
One thing you can actually do on this map, you can take a medium range mech, like medium hunchback, and set him on this side in order to deal some damage while those mechs are coming up. And
I think we saw that with D5 doing that with Hunchback 2C with medium lasers in previous seasons.
Yes, and you can force like enemies to push into this direction instead of like this one, and you can just like set up over here to receive them, something like that. But we've just seen both teams taking purely close range and just smashing into each other, and the winner was decided purely by focus. Oh, and I finally received my freaking Uziel. Thanks, PJ. I like looked a few hours ago and I get it on now. Never mind.
Clearly you didn't deserve it.
Yeah, I don't need it really. Okay.
Oh, come on, everyone needs it.
Yeah.
Never look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah, free McBay. Always nice. Okay, moving on to the drop 2, we gonna have Open Peaks Conquest. And actually I would like to swap to map start really fast, even before the drop again. Just a second.
Yep, already switched.
Thanks.
That should be loading up
so, actually for this drop, Alpine Peaks is a very interesting map to play because mechs can be quite mobile, or they can be like very heavy, like you can take like Hunchback, Nightgear, Hellbringer, and just like set up a fire line with one team over like this, while other team sits on like this fire line and just trade with each other. Or you can take some sort of brawl, which PHL could try from this spawn, and just like roll around here and just push straight up onto this hill. But my bet we're gonna see just straight up trading from both teams on this one. Okay, so again, waiting on both teams to set up.
Yeah, we apparently had a disco around the start of the match on the last drop, so that player is just logging back in.
Also, for this map, there is one interesting situation that there is almost just not enough good medium mechs, like you can use for those very long range engagements. It's like just Hunchback, Wolverine, which showed itself really strong in hands of Jay-Z on one of the matches.
Did you watch the matches between Eon and JGX on this map in Battle for Midway?
No, unfortunately.
I'll link it to you at some point, but it's an interesting watch because obviously 2 drops with both teams playing in the same, playing each side, but both teams wound up pressing through that Golf 7 Valley, while the other team pushed up to Hotel 9 and just traded with the large.
Can you just repeat? Because the thing is that in Battle for Midway it might look a little bit different.
Well, Battle for Midway, you only have Epsilon, Theta, and
yeah, it looked like this. So there is no surprise that both teams ignored like this cup and this cup, which are situated on 5 cups, and just went straight to trading over like these positions and these positions. But when you have the normal 5 cup point, usually what you see, teams like setting up fire line over here, probably some mechs over here, while the team 2 usually sets up on these positions. Probably just like one mech over on this position, stuff like that.
Yeah, agree. I would be very surprised if you see anyone going for Gamma, because mechs that go for Gamma, A, can be traded on by anyone who moves up to that Golf 9 position.
That's also a question.
And B, yeah, they remove themselves from the fight for too long.
And if Team 2 goes for Gamma, you can just like pull one mech from this position and prevent this mech from capping Gamma. And you can just like move straight from Alpha to this area to see if somebody is capping, and if nobody is capping, you can just like get back to your fire line, or even you can just like try to get Gamma and get back. So this map allows a lot of opportunities for like those side caps, because Sigma is also a quite open point. You can just like control it from these directions pretty easily. There is like quite a lot of hills over here, so you can shoot at it. So I won't be surprised if teams just go for get Kappa, get Epsilon, probably get Theta from Team 2, and everybody is just gonna try to win by trades from their positions.
Agreed. So in the scrims you've had today against PHL, how would you rate their effectiveness as traders compared to JGX?
I mean, we were training by first week maps, so not much I can say, because you don't trade on those maps pretty much. They're very hot, you have to almost always go into push enemies, or it will be very hard to receive the push if they decide to do it. So we were mostly like brawling, stuff like that, and on more hotter maps it was mostly Daka on Daka balls, which is not exactly like trading.
Fair enough. So for those unaware of other results in Division A, we did have one match yesterday, which was between Black Spikes Team 1 and White Death Mercenary Company. It was a 4-1 victory for Black Spikes. And that's actually the first match I believe they played so far, because your match against Black Spikes was postponed.
I had to reschedule it to the like reserve week, because both teams weren't able to gather up their people, unfortunately.
So the impact it's had on the table is that you now see JGX in first place on 1800 rep, Black Spikes on 1425 rep in second position, Phoenix Legion in third, and Eon in fourth. I believe they're trying to get a substitute in.
Okay, probably like while we have time between these drops, we can do another minor giveaway. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we may as well. We're literally just killing some time at the moment, waiting for connection issues to be sorted out. PGI, if you're listening, please do something about the amount of time it takes to load into a mech lab.
Oh yes. Okay, loading names, and we're going again to... Okay, just a second. So we're again going for 1250 code giveaway. Okay, I'm rolling.
And Dan's just sitting here hoping that his name doesn't come up before accusations of rigged goes against him as well.
Yes, I'm leaving it there just for that reason.
You just can't let Ash one up you?
Yes. Also, we can kill more time by that. V1K19 won our MC code. Let me check if he's in chat.
Okay, the 8th has just joined. Okay, JJX said they're set.
Yes, he's in chat. Okay, so just one moment. Okay, both teams are almost ready. We'll be dropping in a few moments. So in terms of tonnage, right now they're more or less even, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be trade as I expect, judging by tonnages.
Yeah, I would expect to see night gears like you said.
Probably like 2 summoners, stuff like that. We'll see. Because we know Jigigs like love their Yarlash lasers. I'm not sure if they're going to be trying to play with those summoners at all. I'm really tempted to see it right now. Okay, so if I PM'd him, if he don't show up, I'll just reload a little bit later on.
Yeah, no, if we can always reroll it after drop 3. So for any member of the Australian government out there listening, we blame you for our, well, NAF incident. Last 2 mechs for PHL readying up. Okay, just waiting on data to ready up. Launching.
And we're launching.
Yay!
We have to.
So I would say if we haven't heard anything from Vonko by the end of a drop, then we'll re-roll at that point.
Yeah, after set drop. We really have to think what we gonna do if we already talked about map strat and we did the giveaway and drop is still not going on.
Well, I'm just glad that we're actually in the drop because I was starting to run out of things to say.
Okay, switching to game overlay. Okay, so I'm taking a look at JGX, you on PHL.
No worries.
Ooh, I already see something interesting. So, Shadowcat,
Ice Ferret and Commando.
Largest. Wolfhound, small, medium pulses of course. Artichita, small pulses. And as for Heavylands, of course, Niger and Hellbringer. ER Lash lasers. All ER Lash lasers as expected from JGX. What do we have here from PHL?
We have ERPBCs on Condor Man in the Huntsman. Medium pulse on the Commando. ER larges on the Hunchback 2C.
And look at that, they have 2 mechs rolling towards Gamma. It's Wolfhound and Ice Ferret. Is it 2 PPC one?
Yep.
No, it's 2
And
largest.
Torn is already spotted.
Yes, and look at Sigma. Commander is trying to take it, but immediately gets a little bit shot by your large lasers and breaking off. So it's going to be 2 for 2 in terms of caps. Let's see if any of teams will be able to get their hands on Theta. Actually,
that could have been a really nasty strike on our end, but he dodged it.
Oh, it's a good thing strikes were nerfed. That would hit in World Championships. Look at how Jigigs are positioning themselves right now. They're like sitting at a very extreme range. I even wonder what is the distance towards the mech they're shooting at.
Oh yeah, it'd be helpful if we could show the grids up on the minimap view that we've got.
It's like 1 kilometer plus from there.
And PHL have made it a free camp.
Okay, Theta took by PHL, so caps are now gonna start ticking in their favor. So it's actually a viable strategy for Team 2 to just try to hold to those 3 caps. In terms of percents, everybody is still over 90 aside from Krasapersky and that Wolfhound who took some damage over here. But overall it's just like usual ER large laser trade with JGX, again making that sort of like power position by placing a big chunk of their force at the same position.
Well,
actually,
if you look at their power position there, they've got 2 mechs firing down them.
Yes, and Asferred is picking with 2 air large lasers from CT. So it's good to have some sort of fire line, I guess. And
I mean, boss down to 86% so far. They can't afford to ignore those guys in the back.
Temporary access around Sigma got some damage on them. They lost like 40 and 30% on each other. Shadowcat moving to assist. And
JGX have given up that mountain position.
Yep, they're moving now. Because they cannot survive the threat against Asphalt, I guess. So they're just moving and trying to focus down 1 mech at the same time. Huntsman getting damaged pretty hard by those large lasers, down to
67%.
67 CT and right torso are orange on armor. It looks like Krasnopersky got left on Wolfhound, look at that, near Theta. And Polycat on his command is flipping Sigma in favor of PHL, so despite Jaguars taking out
he's late.
Theta, they're gonna start losing caps, and everybody now is starting to drop into orange. Huntsman got really hurt. Most likely his city is open.
Hunchback 2C torn down to 66%.
But look at that, we have Wolfhound and Asphalt at the back. And it's actually for 3 ER lash laser Wolfhound sitting there. And
first
that
kill
goes down
PHL.
In the open. Yeah, look at that. PHL just got Jigigs surrounded from every direction possible. So we have 3 mechs here, 3 mechs here.
And look, even though those percentages are very
really
highly
nice
down for PHL, they're still spreading that damage between the team well.
Yes.
Temporary access goes down.
They have 4 guys at very into the red. But they're still winning trades. Commander just takes on Shadowcat on this side. Wolfhound is almost dead on this side, and we have just some mechs left around Kappa for JGX.
This is a very impressive result because we did talk before about, can they trade? The answer to that is absolutely. Based on this evidence.
I wouldn't say that it's not win by trade, just JGX just lost their positions. It's pretty much what happened to them when we played against them in World Championship. They just got surrounded from all different directions, and you can't handle when there is like 3 different mechs shooting at you from 3 different directions. You can just focus one of them.
Confirming that we have possession of Kappa.
So we have Commander, Wolfhound and Asphalt pretty much undamaged, and they should be rolling up right now to finish off those mechs of JGX. Yes, Commander.
Yeah, and Alex at 36% in that Hellbringer.
Yeah,
they're definitely trying to focus Alex down first.
PHL just kept himself. Let's see it. Damages still has all weapons on that Hellbringer.
Very impressive win.
Hunchback lost his side torso. CT is very orange. This Hunchback is also very down, so I would say that PHL spread their damage really good on this one. And those, I think what we won this game is that Ice Ferret and Wolfhound flanking from the mountain.
Agree, because if those 4 mechs that were on the mountain were able to just stay there unopposed, they would have been able to just run roughshod.
And look at the damages. Very even for JGX, aside from that RT sheet, which was running, by the way, small pulses for some reason. He just wasn't able to use them at all. As you remember, teams like Imperials were taking Air Lash Laser on the Cheetah, which could be really could be useful on this map and like on Polar if it's a cup game or where you just can get into enemies like almost under any circumstances, because everybody's watching different corners.
Even if all you're doing is scratching an enemy that's on a cap point from a mile away, you're still robbing them of time that they can commit to a fight while still being able to in turn hit enemy mechs that are in other positions.
Wonka just appeared in chat. You can send him the code. Which was count for max? I think it's again was 3 to 8.
Yes.
So very well done by PHL again. As I said, you know that Jaguars are going to be sitting at long range. You just take the thing that counters it. They have been performing in World Championships with that strategy pretty well at the beginning, but when teams seen them doing that, they just it's really easy to counter by simply map control. You just set up multiple fire lines and you just poke them from different directions, and it's really hard to fight against that.
Wait, when you're trying to settle your firing line to be able to poke at the same time and therefore trade from multiple angles, but you're also having to watch your back constantly because you've got 2 mechs that are just non-stop firing into your back, it just makes that position untenable, as we saw when they dropped down.
Okay, let's switch to map strat really fast. So what JGX could do if they want to, like, their lights on these positions were like almost useless. They did nothing. What they could use those lights to is to force off mechs of PHL which were sitting over here. So they could just like send them at the beginning. So send them at the beginning on Gamma and just like clear this area from those long range mechs so that they don't disturb this sort of fire line JGX were trying to set.
Well, and they don't even really need to go into Gamma itself. They can literally just go up to the Golf 9 line, get eyes on. If they see enemy mechs going for Gamma, then they can go, well, they've committed their force there, we can go and just gank the other lights, or their trading mechs that they're sending up into Hotel 999.
So what happened? JGX were, like, as I said, sitting pretty much on that sort of positions. They had like Sigma capped with their lights, so then they just like moved down over here and then over here and still did almost nothing for the whole game. And PHL just like formed this firing line. So Max over here just got shot from 2 directions, from this side and from multiple positions, from like this position, from this position. Not sure if anybody was sitting here, but they definitely had mechs like somewhere over here.
I thought they actually had a mech up around Epsilon, that Hunchback 2C up in Hotel 6.
Yeah, but again, major focus was on this position while JGX was setting. So then they just like fall down, everybody pushed like into this area, and so then they just like got completely surrounded from different directions by PHL. losing like max over here. Data was first of all, then the Wolfhound was left on his way to Theta. A couple of more mechs were damaged around this position from like again just like 2 angles from here and from here. Just like that. Yes, that's pretty much explains what happened.
Right, and we've seen a substitute used, so temporary access is out first drop and Dario is in.
Okay, so both next drop we're gonna have Frozen City.
So I'll just set the map straight now.
Okay. I wonder what PHL could do on this one, because you can actually take something like 2 linebackers, King Crab, like not sure if Brawling Orion, but something else. And let's again get into the map strat, I guess, for this one, because it's again very interesting how teams will set up, because on this map it's much harder to disrupt that sort of strategy GGX are using. So they're going to be Team 1, and they just gonna sit around this area. Probably they'll try to take Theta, take Epsilon, and just try to stick to those 3 caps. My bet on what PHL will try to do, they of course will have some mechs over here, and most likely they will send some sort of Ice Ferret and Wolfhound to these positions, I guess. But then again, it's not that easy to make like different focus from these 2 positions, because you can...
I mean, I would say that JGX for their part will be hoping that Phoenix Legion do a classic Team 2 push into the city, because same as they did last week against White Death Mercenary Company, where they just kept falling back into those open areas, they can do exactly the same thing.
Yes, so my bet, again, we'll see trading. PHL will adapt, they'll try to go for some sort of medium range push over this part of city with like laser vomit and stuff like that, because we've seen that GGX can counter it just by focus firing mechs properly while they're pushing. So yeah, as I said, pretty sure that the trade will happen, as unless it's just like again for some sort of interesting strat happening when like I don't know, think of some sort of medium mech that can flank all the way from this direction and try to take on 1 or 2 mechs of GGX into the back. But that's like very unlikely.
Okay, both teams have said they're locked.
Okay, let's go.
I'm just waiting on 2 players from PHL to ready up.
Have you sent the code to Vivanka? Hey. Hello?
Yes, hello.
Okay, nice.
Yep, I'm just waiting on Tlon to ready up.
So they're dropping Alpha, Charlie, again, more or less even tonnages.
Okay, watching.
And as you can see,
notice
yeah,
the tonnage differential. 520
yeah,
to
actually
500.
they dropped 3 mechs on Charlie right now. Let's see what it is. So yeah, they're most likely setting up those 2 firing positions and gonna try to trade again from 2 different angles.
Thank you very much to everyone for joining us, by the way. Hopefully wherever you are, no matter what time it is, you're enjoying a beverage of your choice.
Okay. Now wait a second. Is that just dropships coming from very weird positions?
Ah, it's just weird positions.
Yeah, yep. They're just like... Okay, never mind.
It's PGI logic, man.
Yes,
Don't question it.
Okay, actually, Daryl from GGX. That's quite interesting. They also took Ice Ferret for this one, actually.
And Phoenix Legion took a direwolf as well.
5 ER large laser direwolf. Wow, you don't see that every day. So Niger, Hellbringer, ER large lasers. Ice Ferret on actually 4 medium pulses. Another Hellbringer with ER large lasers. Summoner, Hunchback 2CA. Of course, everything long range, aside from
PHL all long range so far, with the exception of their Assassin 21.
And actually, they're also bringing Darrell. Darrell is on Daka.
Yeah. The PHL Darrell is Daka, and they've got an Arctic Wolf as well.
Okay, so as you can see, actually PHL doing something interesting because they moved their main force into this upper city, and they have just like one summoner on the wreckage of the ship sitting. What's that strike?
Nicely avoided that strike.
Yes, and as you can see, yes, JGX took Theta pretty easily, but for some reason they're not going for Epsilon. And where's their Ice Ferret?
Just continue. So yeah, just continues being a 2 all cap.
Yeah, so it's now 2 for 2, and JGX isn't making any attempt to send that Ice Ferret somewhere.
It looks like he's making a play over towards Fader.
Yes, it's him moving. But look at that. PHL just moving through the far side of this upper city, and JGX seems like they're going to rotate a little bit towards this Delta 5 area, closer to this hill. You know what? I'm pretty sure that Direwolf with 5 ER large lasers has TC Mark 8 on it. And now we can see PHL taking on Epsilon, but we have Ice Ferret moving to take off that Gamma Kappa point from PHL. And it's just slightly cut, so we're gonna have caps in favor of JGX for in a few seconds.
JGX fair part moving back away from the city into that open space like we mentioned.
Actually, you lied to me because PHL have Arctic Wolf and Assassin for them.
I did say.
That's Rams.
So yeah, the Assassin
and
the Arctic
look at
Wolf.
JGX just like rolling away from that bush, trying to get some damage on the summoner while it's moving up, but not much. And here is a very important point. If JGX is not going to move, they might lose to that push right now.
Dargo down to 74%.
Here comes that push. Roughneck is getting focused, but it's Roughneck, so it's okay for him, I guess. Yeah, he's just like lost some armor on his right torso, overall he's good. Dargo again getting focused really hard by enemy team. But he still has all his weaponry right now. And here, Hunchback
if we look at data on 74%.
And Hunchback lost his right torso and just sitting.
Yeah, Aaron for Phoenix Legion down to 49%.
Daryl loses his side torso.
JGX.
And here goes the SRAM mediums.
Okay, so that's a bonus away from them.
And Ice Ferret is busy capping for JGX right now, not able to give any sort of support. So, but Phoenix Legion mechs are more or less damaged, so if JGX keep that range, they might still win this one. But Assassin...
Yeah, I mean, you look at Pasha and Dario both sitting in the 90% range.
But those mechs of JGX that are down in that valley are pretty much already dead. And look at that.
Yep, Alex the next target.
Polycat on his assassin just rolling it towards that Niger of Alex and going for Lex. They're gonna down him very fast. Like one more salvo and he's dead, yes. And there's just Ice Ferret and Summoner left from JGX. I think they just weren't prepared for that such a push from PHL days, so they all long range, so they waited for them on that area. But
like teams normally hesitate the second JGX starts trading instead of committing to it.
So those mediums are just gonna kill the rest of PHL pretty easily. And
another time,
only
team with a
2
bonus
max. Look at how damaged Phoenix Legion max are.
Yeah, that's some
36, 38, 54. Very into the reds. And it's 8 for 2 on this one. Very impressive display from PHL.
Like, if there was talk, I believe, early on about whether those Antares-Scorpions players that joined the team had integrated, after the last 2 weeks of drops, any such questions have to be dismissed.
Look at the damages on the Assassin and Arctic Wolf.
654, 526, wow.
Actually, quite interesting what they've done. The first mech to get focused was that Roughneck, which really is the tankiest one. He did his job, he tanked first, and then like other heavies and their wolf moved up, and only then those Assassin and Arctic Wolf went into JGig's position. Like they were at full HP, I think, when they ran over there.
Well, yeah, like we've used Roughnecks ourselves in various drops because they have the armor of a mech that's 25 tons heavier than them.
Yes, and
they've got the structure to boost as well.
Okay, so unfortunately for PHL they lost their wolf, so no bonus for them, but they got the solid win. It's 8 for 2, so
8 for 2, no bonus to either team.
So here's updated information, and next one we're going to have less cold map for this time. It's Crimson Stray Conquest by standard World Championship rules, 2 mech of each weight. Woo!
Well, this has been really entertaining so far.
So, as you can see, more and more teams are learning how to counter JGig's power position of that sort.
I think one of the advantages that JGX had going into Worlds was the fact that they had only played AP, so
yeah,
there weren't a lot of people who were aware of just how good they were at focusing.
That's pretty much what I said on previous one. No, not really much people were ready, and I think only us seen like 2 games of JGX with other teams, so we were able to prepare for that strategy and like just to make out that map control thing and just to make focus on them from different directions where they can't really focus one of us.
So should we go through the map strat for previous drop while waiting for the guys to set up?
Actually, yeah, let's go for map strat.
So, I mean, you called it with PHL moving up to around the city. Like, they took a bit of a wider line than you'd expected, but they did still make that push through to take Epsilon and then move through. While JGX, in turn, initially moved up into the city and then pulled right back to the D5 ridge. Well,
yeah, as I said, it might have been a mistake for them to keep staying there. So, as you might see, PHL actually lost some time gathering their forces around here. If JGX used that time for all of their mechs to get over this open area, I think they might have a great chance at like preventing PHL mechs from crossing this area. And they still had control on Theta at this moment, and they had Ice Ferret going for Sigma, and Kappa was there. So what could happen, if they crossed, they could just set around this position, not allowing PHL to move pretty much from anywhere. They would have to move very long open. They have to walk very long open distance from any of these positions. But unfortunately for JGX, they just like stopped over here. So probably saw that this is like enough space for us to handle this push, but there is like a couple of obstacles here. There is like a hill over this area, so you really can attack from just like make like very big fire line tank a little bit with your heavies, and then just send those two mediums into and do the job. Kind of like that.
But yeah, it was interesting to see how well that summoner moved, because if he moved a little from PHL, the one who was sitting around Fox 5, just next to the dropship, because if he hesitated on when he moved, that could have ended for him really badly.
And as I said, while all of this was happening, JGX's threat was just like capping Sigma for some reason. So he probably was moving through the satellite, didn't point attention to that, but anyway, that like was absolutely perfect execution of push from PHL in this one. They tanked with proper mech, then they moved up undamaged mechs, and then they just allowed mediums to roll into those slow, like Niger, probably Direwolf, and just chew them pretty easily. I mean, they also were running like 8 SRAM 6 Arctic Wolf, that's like crazy alpha.
I thought it was SRM 4s.
8 SRAM 4s, yeah.
But yeah, like you more commonly see the build, you've widely touted for multiple SRM 4s and then 5 SRM 2s?
Yes, 4 SRM 2s and 5 SRM 2s, you can alpha it, but the point is that on this drop you don't really need ability to alpha, you can have that sort of window between like times you shoot at enemies, because it's very heavy dropped compared to that Arctic Wolf. Usually targets it will be shooting are very slow, like Direwolf, Niger, Summoner. So yeah, that's completely normal to take that build in favor of normal one.
Shall we have a quick look through River City?
River City?
Sorry, Crimson,
yeah,
sorry, Crimson Stripe.
Yeah,
they're both river maps. They're both cities.
Yeah, who cares? Oh, I actually hate playing this map.
VIP to deal with.
I so hate playing this map, both in quick play and competitive. So I think there's just like so many things that can happen to you, even though the map is pretty easy. You just like can attack from, let's say, 4 different directions. Like from this side it's tunnel, this side, and through the open, or you just like, come on, stop lagging, or just through saddle. And same goes for this team, inside the tunnel, this side of the city, into the open over here, or through saddle. But
I've seen teams before do the push straight across, like after walking through Sigma, to just touch it, running all the way across the waterline and just pushing hard onto entrenched firing lines, simply from the point of view that if they push across the water, their legs are shielded from a lot of damage. And on top of that, by the time they get across to where Fader is, the enemy force really don't have a lot of sight lines on them.
Okay, but here's actually my bet. So JGX is team 1, and just imagine them trying to set up a like very heavy large laser fire line over like here, and like over these positions, probably put Summoner on top of that hill over here, and PHL just taking some sort of very fast brawling deck, probably some sort of 2 ballistic medkits, linebacker, Ran, 2CA, and just like pushing into the tunnel and out into JGX positions. Or they could take like Summoner's position, one here, like take Battlemaster and Supernova and position them like on this position, probably also one on the island. So again, you know that JGX most likely will be playing around this area. My mob strat is lagging so hard.
Looks okay, it looks like a Picasso painting.
Yep,
so planets everywhere.
Yeah, let's just like take big blob and point like that. Like JGX will be playing around these positions. And for PHL, GGX just don't know what these guys are gonna be doing against them. As I said, because we've seen PHL outbrawling GGX on the first drop, we've seen PHL out trading them on the second drop, we've seen PHL pushing at them at third drop. So if GGX gonna take full ER lashless on this one, they again can be crushed by PHL just performing almost any of those strats.
Well, it's interesting because if you look at drop 3 last week, that was where PHL really came unstuck because they played a more static style, and compared that to drop 3 this week where they kept going with that movement that paid off for them so well in drops 1 and 2 last week, and in drop 4 with their camp strategy.
Okay,
so that might be the other thing that's going into JGX's heads.
And
you know,
I'm reading chat right now a little
crap?
bit, and some people are surprised that PHL are doing so well after the World Championship. Well, there's two things. First one, they took some different players into their roster, and the second one, they were practicing a lot before this MRBC. So, another one. So, as I said, what... Oh, sorry. Just a second. So, as I said, PHL could just like sit up trading, commit to a very hard push through tunnel like this position, stuff like that. Or what they can do, they can just like take Sigma, take Kappa, send one light to take Gamma, and just like push a little bit into that sort of firing line and take Theta, and just keep holding with those 4 caps on this line. They easily can do that too. So again, very looking for PHL to what they're gonna do at this one.
And I think Queenplayers just pointed out that we're not seeing a couple of very well-known players for JGX this season. You know, Better Call Saul or Rabbit.
Yes, for sure.
I mean, I know for a fact that Saul is in Asia Pacific, so you know, playing at 4 AM in the morning on a Friday night just may not be viable for him.
Yes, and I mean, GGX used to play in AP divisions, but they switched to this one because they have changed their roster more to like European one. So again, if we look for tonnages, PHL is like 10 tons less right now than GGX, so I very doubt they're going to push on this one. As I said, it seems for me that they really could try that cup strategy with just taking those 4 cups.
Okay, JGX are locked in Bravo Charlie Lancers, which comes as no surprise whatsoever to anyone on Team 1.
Okay, just let me quickly remind the current situation before we go into drop. So they're dropping Alpha, Charlie, and like in Bravo only 1 mech.
And 35 tons of difference, so PHL will be going for speed, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, now they down their tonnage by a fair bit, so now it's 35 tons. So they might go for push or they might go for cap very easily on this one. And Teperaxis got disconnected again.
No worries.
Okay, so just waiting for one player to reconnect. Again, stay tuned. We're going to do a 3000 MC giveaway after the end of this game.
So I want to know who in some ISP that JGX have pissed off, because holy hell, the number of connection problems they've had today.
It happens from time to time. It's quite funny, but So we had a scrim with Eon like on the previous week, and one of our guys' video card died just like around drop 4, so he had to go and buy a new one for this week. And yesterday, like not yesterday, before yesterday, we were training with back spikes, and they had like also 2 or 3 people crashing from the game. I'm not sure if it's some sort of problem with MW or something, but suddenly it seems the game became a little bit less unstable than it was before. Or everybody's just experiencing all sorts of different PC troubles after the winter for some reason.
Well, I think that as they've gone, well, look, we need to abandon the 32-bit client and just focus on the 64-bit one. There are more and more features being put into the game, and as a result, that does have a destabilizing event.
And as a result, loading time gets absolutely insane.
Like, oh my god, the amount of time it takes me to load between matches into the mech bay now. Like, and I don't even have that many mechs comparatively. I can only feel pity for people who've got 500 plus.
No, I wonder how long it takes for them to download.
Okay, they're back.
Okay, we got the player back and everybody should be readying up. So with that tonnage difference, I'm pretty sure it's either a push through tunnel or it's a cup game.
Okay, both teams have said they're locked.
Okay, waiting for a few read-ups, and we should go.
Okay, launching. And we'd also like to say thank you very much to our audience for being patient. Understandably, technical issues do happen, but that tonnage differential, 35 tons, what is it going to be? Are we going to see commandos as the point of difference weight-wise?
I'm also wondering which assaults PHL will be bringing for this one.
Are you thinking gargoyles?
No. It's bad mech for push. If you want to push, you take like marauders and ballistic medcats. Because, as I said, analyzers in this level are too slow and are too easily focused. Okay then, I am taking a look at GGX, you take a look at PHL.
No worries.
Also, I'm pretty sure GGX will be bringing those both ER large lasers and annihilators on this one.
They brought that Roughneck 3A again, an Annihilator, dual Annihilators, Arctic Cheetah, Summoner F, Mistlinks,
Actually, look at that, 4 Annihilators, 1 piece from team. That's crazy actually. So yeah, Phoenix Legion just went for full trade, but where's that tonnage difference? I guess it's like Roughneck and Niger.
We have Gamma.
And that's it?
Well, Roughneck and Summoner, so they've taken 5.
Okay, so 5 large lasers, Gauss large lasers, PPCs, medium pulses, nothing outstanding, small pulses, heavy machine guns actually on that cheetah. Huntsman with PPCs, and I wonder what is on that Stormcrow, which is behind right now. And it's 12 small pulse Stormcrow. It's 12 small pulse Stormcrow, so he will be mostly useless. And look at that, as I said, PHL trying to go for the cup game. I wonder if that Mistlinks is going to go to try to get Gamma. So, what are on those hunchbacks? PPC small lasers hunchback, wow, haven't seen that in a while.
And PHL have got 1 Annihilator on the island and the other one in the lower city.
And Summoner, of course, on that reach, very important position for it to take. Wow, that's very interesting.
Well, yeah, Krasno keeps trying to take Epsilon, but he's down to 93%.
Actually, it's 2 Gauss air large lasers. So if GGX annihilators are just like 5 air large lasers, for Phoenix Legion those are 2 Gauss and 3 large lasers, sorry. Yes, and Krasnopersky got a little bit damaged during this attempt to get Epsilon. Now PHL just need to hold that theta position for as long as possible, because they already have both of their lights, sorry, Light and Assassin moving towards Gamma. Pretty sure they're gonna cap it until the full, so GGX will have to push at some point. Look at that strike on data right now. Actually a lot of it missing. Almost nothing hit him, just like 1 shot probably over here. And he just keeps getting shot from that summoner, which is still 100% hollow, so he haven't even been touched by ER large laser at this point.
And JGX responding on Gamma.
Yes.
Krasno and Dario coming in, and Phoenix Legion just pulling out.
I mean, they just like pulled off 2 GGX mechs from the main body. They took that point advantage, so they are now very heavily in favor of caps for them. And look at those annihilators of JGX just moving into this part of the city and starting to trade.
Well, I mean, you look at Torn being focused down here, he's 72%.
Of course he's like on the most exposed position, so he's just moving around, but he probably just will try to stay alive a little bit more. Actually, let me...
Great strike on Dargor. Take him down to 72%.
Again, Dargor getting all the focus fire possible in this world. Actually, let me see from Scout's perspective at which range he's trading with those mechs, because they don't seem to be dealing full damage to each other. Yeah, it's like kilometer plus
1,207 meters. Direct CT shot there.
Oh, wait a second, temporary axis got disconnected at some point. I have noticed that.
More than a minute into the fight, because he was moving on to Gamma.
Yes, he was on RTC, fortunately for PHL, so not very important mech at this position. Look at it, we have 3 mechs from PHL moving through the saddle again to try to cap Gamma, it seems. And there's Krasnopersky just overwatching this position, waiting for temporary. It looks like they've seen this rotation, they're preparing for it. But Krasnopersky can get focused very hard on this one, and if they lose this fight, they lost the game pretty much. And meanwhile...
Natasha landing a really decisive shot there on El Rizzo.
Look at what's happening right now in this fight. Okay, we can see just like very slow, very paced trading around this area, but fight is kicking off on the other side of the map right now. That small pulse Shonfro actually being useful.
And you said it was going to be useless.
Yes, that's it. And as we can see, it's getting focused first, of course, but Mislinks is down to 50%.
And the Stormcrow's down.
Yes, will JGX Lights be able to turn this in their favor?
I think they've legged Dexter.
Yes, they legged him. Look at that, they have Roughneck supporting them from the saddle, but I'm not sure that he's useful over here. And yes, Assassin is down. And there is just like Mislinks without arms moving towards probably Epsilon right now, all the way through that water. And we have only Arctic versus Wolf Hunter on this area left. One thing, what happened, actually PHL flipped Gamma from the... Oh, nice shot from Krasnopersky. He just read this Mislinks. Oof. Okay, so let me check what's happening on the other side of the map. Data is kinda heavily damaged. Dragger is also very damaged on his annihilator.
Torn down to 43% and being trained by Dargo.
Elriza on his summoner sitting on this position is very damaged. So trade, it seems, was mostly won by JGX, but just by a little bit, but they completely lost that map control. And Wolfhound against Arctic Cheetah. Just like...
And if you look at the cap scores, like 520 for 362 at the moment, this match is PHL's to lose, frankly.
Yes, they just have to hold on Kappa and Sigma, and I'm pretty sure they're safe to win this one. Krasnopersky just like getting off that pocket. Actually, what happened PHL lost control over Theta, but they were able to give themselves such a huge advantage by that Gamma Cup at the beginning that they still might win this one. And actually look at that, Roughneck moving to support the
Yeah, I
back
think
ship.
Polycat's about to go down.
Polycat is about to go down, but there's Zinja on his Roughneck to support this one.
And VG's spotting now.
Yeah, he has also small pulsizers on his Huntsman.
El Rizzo on the
Summoner goes down, yeah. And now if JGX will be able to get Cup, they still can win this one. They just need to win this fight around this area right now. And look at that, Zinji getting focused by 2 mechs from different directions, and it seems he's just gonna go down by something. Yes, from behind by Crushed Person, takes his down.
Torn moving towards Epsilon, but Pasha looks like he's planning on taking a few shots on the mechs and
it seems
the lower
that
city.
Torn... Wait, he didn't lose his Cytors yet. Wow, look at that. And Scav getting focused from all different directions, down he goes. And it seems that map control won't be an issue for GGX. They handle it really well by countering those moves towards Gamma from PHL. Torn goes
down.
Also,
2 mechs left for PHL.
Look at that, Pasha just moving towards Sigma to uncap it. So yeah, unfortunately PHL finally losing a round to GGX. But that was a really interesting fight from both teams.
I'm just not sure what was
Condraman actually taking
aim
down
was.
I mean,
I'm not sure what was aimed by having that Roughneck going over, sitting where he was over saddle, because he wasn't really contributing anything to that line of fire.
Just imagine right now if PHL were able to win this fight and get Gamma in their favor. They would be sitting like on 2 cups right now, and they may have had enough resources to win this one. But that was a really great round from both teams. Let's look at the damages. Oh wow, 924 from that. He definitely was.
I would also say Pasha with 320 ping controlling that island, almost single-handedly. He kept El Rizzo just completely occupied the whole match.
Yeah, that definitely was practicing his Niger for a very, very, very long time. Well, it paid off this time.
I think Dexter Clerks dying as early as he did in the 21 Assassin really hurt.
Yes, that... I mean, I feel like that 12 Small Pulse Stormcrow was just like a little bit more well suited for the situation what happened on the far side of the map. Okay, so there's 8-3 in favor of GGX, and they're getting their bonus points.
Achieved.
Okay, so let me update our situation really fast. They lost only 3 mechs, and of course they're getting bonus for killing all heavy sun assaults in this one. There we go. Actually, GGX with that bonus for killing all the mechs on this drop, taking quite a lot of reputation.
Well, I mean, it was also helped by the fact that PHL, one of the weaknesses of that cap strat is that you run the risk of not killing enough mechs if the enemy does get the jump on you. At least if you're trading consistently and damaging mechs and keeping it at a close margin, you minimise your losses. And I think we saw that with PHL winning that drop 4 last week, but not really killing any of the opposing force. It enabled Eon to claw back enough rep that it was only a loss by 100 reputation.
Yes, bonus points are very important in this league, to be honest. I mean, if you know that you're not going to win, try at least to go for those bonus points. Okay, so I think we talked about how this match could go from the very get-go, and it was quite obvious that PHL tried to go for that cup strat, but they, unfortunately for them, lost Theta, they lost control over Gamma. Not even control, they lost a fight over Gamma, I'd say, because it was like 4 and 4 mechs from each side fighting over that part of the map, which is not usually what happens on this map.
I think there were 2 really key moments in there that lost them the match, and one was just how much time they took with that light medium fire around Gamma, and the other was allowing JGX to gain possession of Fader when they did.
Okay, now drop 5, Rubilet Oasis. Let's look at the map start. So, to be fair, I have no idea how this game will go. I very doubt that even GKs will go here much later on this map. I know, like, we know they love them, but I'm pretty confident they will go like for old duck on this one. So
I would say Gorse and Daka.
Probably Gorse. Let's see. I can't read their minds. Thing is, on this map, it's very hard to try to go for some sort of cap strategy, because one team like owns each of their spawn points. Then you need like you can just like send your lights to get those side ones, and then you just have to fight really hard to get control over Theta.
Yeah, because Fader is so exposed on this map, like more so than almost any other map. Like even HPG, despite its position, is in a basement, so there are angles you can't fire from. Fader on this map, on the other hand, you literally can be fired at from any angle.
And so I really have no idea which both teams can pull out on this one, because you can move either this direction or you can move to this direction, and enemy team can also just like move to this direction, and then we like see trading between those sides. Or like the most crazy variant, if both teams decide to go to the same side without like setting any sort of crossfire from the other side. And you can just like send those lights into the lower ground, like under all your mechs striking from behind. You can send like a linebacker to support them. Some crazy stuff like that can easily happen on this map. And on such a slow and heavy drop, it can be really punishing if you get like out of position somehow by enemies. They don't even like need to know how to play this map. If they just like get better positions on this one, it's pretty much game over because of how slow these decks are.
I mean, it's a lot like Solaris 07 in that if you've got someone in the wrong position, all you have to do is just take the enemy team down by one person who can't trade properly, who's venting heat because they've lost half their light engine or their clan XL, and all of a sudden you're able to bring their superior firepower and you will just grind down the L4.
Okay, I guess not to waste time after the stream, we can just like go and make our 3000, sorry, I really need to learn to say 1000 instead of 100. Our 3000 giveaway right now. So
yeah, sounds good to me.
Just download the list. And we have breaking 111 viewers right now.
Beautiful.
Okay, I'm rolling this thing.
No worries, I'm just keeping an eye on in-game to see if they're ready. Currently there's 7 piles for JGX.
Delusions wins 3000 MC. Congratulations, man. Let me just check if you're here really fast.
Okay, so we've got 7 pilots from JGX.
Let me tag him. Okay, done.
So 8 pilots for JGX now.
And 8 pilots
Just
from
waiting on the confirm
PHL, waiting for everybody to figure out what they're gonna do on this map and press those ready buttons for us. So, as far as
I think regardless of anything else goes, this is definitely going to give the other teams in the division something to think about in terms of how they play their own drop 2 match. And JGX, they're locked.
I mean, we've seen Aeon, to be honest, kind of shamefully losing that forced drop on the previous one. And then I just had a little conversation with Lizzie, and he told that yeah, we were a little bit too passive. We should have just pushed way earlier than we did.
Well, particularly on their drop 2, that really poorly timed push dramatically cost them, because I think if they'd pushed at the right time, they would have convincingly won that drop. Like, you looked at how close it was, regardless.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and
the fact that Lizzie and Colonel O'Neill both overheated, desperately trying to deal out as much damage as possible, really hurt.
And about second drop, he told me that they actually had a slow desynchronization in terms of when they both pushed, just like as we noticed it. Yes, actually that's what happened. They just felt a little bit in coordinating that synchronous push from those both sides, which pretty much costed them the second drop. But overall, I'm really enjoying all the games right now. They're not very one-sided. Everybody has to learn something from them. Everybody is good at something and a little bit worse in something else. And that's what really makes right now this division very interesting for me to watch and to cast. And it's part of the reason because I know that there would be quite a lot of different teams with different strategies, different play styles.
We've just had another crash from JGX.
Oh, what a surprise.
And now for something completely different, here is a memo 3 asses.
Yeah, no problem. So,
and Data's back.
As I said, very interesting to watch, very interesting to cast. Thanks everybody for tuning into our stream. Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the league. And Illusion is still not appearing in chat, so I guess we will reload it after this one.
Yeah, I agree. If we don't hear anything by the end of a drop, then we'll re-roll. So once again, for those who are wondering what the upcoming casts are, the mrbcleague.com website specifies, and both teams are ready. I'm launching before we have another crash.
Yes.
So curious to hear from chat, what do you think is going to be the result tonight? Are we going to see PHL close out this last drop? Are we going to see JGX mount a late comeback to minimise our rep loss?
Well, as we've seen, PHL are not really great at this heavy drop when they were just crushed by Eon on it. while Jiggings are a little bit better like at shooting stuff. I'd say it that way. Let's see what happens.
Two dual summoners for the assaults. Also for heavies for PHL.
Yeah, they
Marauder
actually
2C, Annihilator, Madcat, Warhawk.
Yeah, they actually went full long range. Like Misslings, Cheetah, Linebacker coming with those lights as I said. 6 SRM, 6s for him. And Daka Madcat is Daka Madcat. I doubt there is something different for him. Yeah, just normal. And for PHL we actually see Gauss Vomit Madcat, Laser Vomit Marauder to see on such a hot map. Even though yes, it was like turned down a little bit in terms of heat, it's still very hot. So I'm actually surprised they're bringing those loadouts to this one.
Hey, so can mention by the way, we do have a browser source set as match, right?
And actually it's 5 large lasers Marauders, so everybody is going to try to spread wide and out-trade each one. Didn't see that coming, definitely.
So just asking again, you do have a browser source set to match, yes? Cool. With no radio cast is good.
So as we can see, PHL taking middle point from GGX fairly easy. It wasn't contested by GGX lights. So right now caps are gonna start ticking in favor of PHL. And everybody is just, look at how spread PHL are, while GGX mostly sitting just on that reach again, with that Supernova, 2 Annihilators. And I really feel that they're gonna start receiving strikes right now in that position. Darrow on his
well, I mean, you look at data already down to 79% now after that strike. Dargo 93%. Alex 88%.
I mean, 70% is on Annihilator can mean that it's almost undamaged. Really. Because both his side torsos and CT are yellow in terms of armor.
Got hit by the edge shell of another strike.
Yeah, but it actually look at that. JGX pushing with that linebacker and the lights onto ER large laser Annihilator on that side of the map.
And
linebacker
the
just,
summoner is about to get.
Yeah, and summoner just gets.
By the lights.
It seems like that very widespread from PHL might cost them that game.
I don't know if that Warhawk should have dropped down. Like that just might seem to me like panic.
Look at that, summoner survives that run on by lights, but here comes the ballistic Madcat who just walks through the middle of the map. We have that Gauss Vomit Madcat returning back to assist. Actually, did that summoner got stripped? Yes, he's stripped, he has no weapons.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely JGX's match to lose because they've just forced PHL to move where they want to.
And Axis just lost his leg, but that really doesn't matter. That Marauder 2C is already at 65%, sorry. That linebacker just kited both lights to the very back of the positions. Down he goes, but he distracted lights for a very long time.
Not just for lights, he pulled 2 assaults out of position. Right? The Warhawk dropped down and then the Marauder 2C dropped down as well.
Yes. Let's see at the damage on that Marauder. One torso is orange structure, other torso is red armor, so he will not last long. And oh my god, another summoner is also down to 1 PPC for PHL. And despite
JGX lose one of their lights.
Yeah, they lost one of their lights, but look at the percents of the remaining PHL max.
Yeah, I think that position for Scarv up on the hill there is just not tenable. He's got Pasha ready to jump on him, and he's got the ER just coming at him.
And he was the one who got that run by linebacker and lights, so he is kinda heavily damaged right now. So the only way that PHL gonna win this one is by capping, because look at that. Oh no, that summoner is getting chased by Mislings, so he won't last long.
In the meantime, Torn and that Warhawk is just completely out of the fight.
Yes, I mean, that's really what's happening right now. They just lost their positions because they were too spread and they didn't expect that sort of push from Jaguars. And as I said, this drop deck is very slow. If you get outpositioned by enemies just even by a tiny bit, you can lose it just from not being able to recover from that. And that is what's happening because PHL lost their positions.
Oh, look at that strike down.
Yeah, very nice strike, and he just gets killed by a summoner. He most likely LFU with that loadout. Or no, not actually. Come on, drop. I mean, PHL lights are trying to flip the cards in their favor, and that might work again actually, because look at how slow the remaining mechs of Jaguars are. They have only Mistlings left. Ginger just self-destructs.
Someone kills Dario. I think that's his. I think that's
Mistlings is left. Mistlings is left. PHL still can win this because they have both slides on caps. Let's see. They have 3 cap advantage. They're gonna have 2 caps in their favor for quite a while. And yes, PHL still can take this one because their lights
and they'll be able to go onto Krasno.
Relatively undamaged. And it will take ages to flip Sigma for PHL. The only fast mech they have is probably one of the summoners. It's Pasha, his summoner, and they have 2 very slow annihilators and very slow supernova.
We have gained Epsilon. They have resource point Gamma.
And as I was saying during all drops, in Fuse drop you can easily win by caps if you just like forget about them at some point, or you just don't pay too much attention to controlling them. And that Mistlings of PHL will most likely kill that Mistlings of Jaguars. He just needs to ball up and roll straight into him. Supernova is going for Gamma right now, and Artishita is falling away towards Epsilon.
That actually didn't do any damage to Krasnobesky at all. That shot. Oh, killed him with a strike.
Oh, nice. So he's gonna flip Kappa very fast back into PHL favor, and they still gonna have 2 caps. I think they got this one too.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh my god, what a great 2 last matches we had right now.
Well, I mean, look at Epsilon. Like, you've got Polycat down there. You know, is Pasha going to get shots on him enough to kill him? I don't think so.
There's like full HP Annihilator moving into this position, so he probably won't be able to get this cap.
But he can keep the Annihilator occupied.
At least, yeah, Pasha moving back towards that position, so he will likely just disengage right now, straight away. Actually, look, I completely missed that they still have that Marauder all the way back to Sigma. Look at that. Oh, sorry.
Well, and the thing is, Aaron's done a lot of damage for this drop.
Yeah, just look at his side source. Wow. And Data is just hanging around Theta in case somebody will try to get a cap on this, and I'm pretty sure he have seen that Mistlings.
Yeah, 742.
But already Phoenix Legion won this just by getting those lights survive that fight.
Then, like I said, being able to control their losses by not losing that Marauder 2C and giving the enemy even more rep.
Yep. Also keep in mind, neither of teams get the bonus because that Marauder 2C survived. Let's look at the damages. Yeah, very high damages from GGX, but as you know, you don't have to kill all the mechs in Conquest to win the game. So GGX killed 5 mechs, lost 4 mechs for themselves. Let me update really quick.
Like Krasnopeski, 560 damage and a mislinks is nothing to sneeze at. Same with Dario doing 507 and that Madcat Mark 2. Torn, 600 damage in that Warhawk. Arend, 483 and surviving in that Marauder 2C.
Okay, and the final count in reputation will be 1,375 reputation for Phoenix Legion and 675 reputation for JGX. Let's look at...
Which pretty firmly puts Phoenix Legion in first place for the moment.
Yes. Actually, they're winning just by freaking 50 reputation right now. Okay.
Well, to be honest, I'll be looking at going a win's a win.
Let's get faster.
We haven't heard anything from Illusions yet. So should we do that giveaway again?
Actually, let's make a giveaway really fast, and then we're gonna talk a little bit on map strat while we're waiting for the guide to appear. Okay, 119 viewers right now. We're rolling it up. And the winner of 3000 FC. Oh, Igor Kozyrev almost won this one again. Emma Krampo wants 3000 MC. Let's see if he's in chat. While I'm looking this up...
I'm just trying to line up Aaron.
While we're looking this up, you can talk a little bit on map strat.
Okay, so looking through the map, first thing that comes to mind is the fact that JGX, as was mentioned during the cast, set themselves up in a very static position around the Delta 5 ridge. Phoenix Legion for their part spread out very, very widely and went for caps early. Now I thought that might actually play against them because concentrating on caps in such heavy drop can lead to being outmaneuvered.
Okay, so Mr. Krampus should be in chat, waiting for him to respond. So
Krasnopeski is going to say the captain can't actually do TeamSpeak, but can we do the MRBC Discord?
You want to do an interview? Yeah, sure. Let's mute ourselves over here and drop into MRBC.
Sound muted.
Okay, can we actually like drag him over here? Oh wait, he is also a shortcutter, he should be able to join us.
So we're just going to be MRBC public then.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello! So, sorry to have seen so many connection problems for you guys. That has to be frustrating.
Yeah, basically we got a disconnect in the middle of the fight, the Nova. Disconnect in the middle of fight, drop 1. We lost the light on drop 4 at the beginning.
Yes, fortunately PHL didn't push at this time from that direction, so it was more or less manageable in this place.
Honestly, the most frustrating thing for me at this place is when you have to rearrange players at the last second because I don't have the mech, I didn't show up, I didn't prepare, I disconnected, I can't at the last. We didn't have our dedicated light pilot, and I think that it showed up in the 5th match when we had a light basically suiciding, losing a leg instead of caps. But besides of that, you can't ask too much from people when you ask them, hey, you log in at 5 a.m. in the morning at the last second because this player didn't show up. We had a couple of people who didn't show up at the last second. We had to force people from Australia with the 300 ping on the Euro server to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning at the last second and prepare mechs at the last second, of course.
Yeah, you could tell when Pasha was first playing, he was still waking up, well, shaking off a bit of that sleepiness. But as the drops went on, he got much sharper. Like drop 3 in particular, he controlled that island really, really well.
It is what happens when you have a team, an enemy team that wants to improve, like PHL. They do want to improve. They apply, they practice session after session after session. That's what happens. If you keep practicing and improving, of course you're gonna get better.
As I said, they changed a couple of pilots from their roster after a World Championship, and they have done quite a lot of scrims with us. I know they practiced with Spikes, with Eons, so they played quite a lot of teams. They have quite a lot of strategies, so you never know what they're gonna pull off, and it's sometimes really frustrating.
We got baited last time because we did a scrim with the PHL. And they used the different techniques, 1-4-1 the last week, and we prepared the same things, and they countered that, especially on Frozen City. Their deck was entirely different because we practiced with the same spawns and same maps 1 week before the MRBC official match, and it's clear that they improved their strategy a lot on Frozen City. They didn't have a laser vomit push and the Dakar Wolf on that map. We didn't expect that at all. We expected them to trade like last time, but it is evident that on a map like Frozen City, you thought you could use a long range build, but you can't. You have to bring a couple of PPC jump sniping mechs, all the rest, laser vomit, push and control the caps.
And I felt that's why you struggled to roll all your mechs to the other side of that, how you call it properly on English, sorry. To the other side of the map.
Bad positioning for us on Frozen City, and on Alpine Peaks we didn't expect them to know that our lights were there and to take off their legs. We expected the lights to like backshot them from the side like we did last time, but again they knew it now and they prepared. And then we had to jump down with the main firing line on the cap because of course we had the lights both legged. And we had to at least try to cap Theta and Kappa, otherwise it was a sure cap loss instantly. And I think it paid for them to have one more light at long range, because they could tickle mechs from the back, from the mountain.
That was one thing that we commented on, having that ice ferret, the largest verb. It just seemed like you guys every time you settled into a pattern to trade.
Also Airlash Laser Wolfhound over there.
But every time your 4 mechs would settle into a pattern to start trading, you'd get backshot and have to readjust. And eventually it just seemed like you just went, look, we can't sustain this. We're going to have to drop down.
We didn't drop down because we didn't drop down because of the fight with the ice ferret. That wasn't a problem. We dropped down when we heard on our comms that our lights were getting lagged and we were losing on caps. The ice ferret wasn't a problem at that point. We dropped down because we were losing all the caps, and we tried to go to caps with the heavies because no one was going to cap, and the lights weren't capping. Their laser mech became a problem when we dropped down and he started shooting from the back. Where we were
you just like got completely surrounded from like 3 different directions over there.
Now our positioning was wrong. Of course we didn't practice, we didn't know, but we should have placed more on our right.
Yes, on that white hill.
We should have gone like where I placed the Pasha and Dargor, the Huntsman and the Shadowcat. More people should have been around there, even farther on the right side. Because basically we had superior fire-powered long range, but we had no way to place it.
To bring it to bear, effectively.
No, sorry, repeat.
To bring it to bear. Alright, should we wrap up there?
We might need to reroll it again. So, wait a second.
To be fair,
Did the first winner was the guy with name Illusions?
yes.
Oh, he just showed up in chat. You can PM him. Look, he's like right there.
Yep, no worries. I can see him. That's
So,
fine, I'll PM.
Illusions, congratulations with your 3000 MC code. Okay.
I'm not getting it. I'll call Krasno because he's native English and can better. Just give me 1 quick second.
No worries, and Aaron just said he's going to join us.
Hey, boys.
Hey.
Hey. That's okay. We were just going over. The fact that we're just about to finish. But what I'd said was, when Data had said not able to effectively put down firepower, I just made the comment not being able to actually bring it to bear. So the same thing from two different perspectives, really.
You're breaking up for me, Dad. Actually, I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah, he's just saying that you wasn't able to utilize your long range over there.
Ah,
the second drop.
Yeah.
No, there was
the second drop, Phoenix Legion had a superior plan to us, and it showed. They made us push them, and we got punished for it. Pretty simple.
Yeah, you could have left like 1 or 2 mechs on top of that hill and try to play it like that, but you just drop down and just straight up allowed them to surround you from different directions.
Yep.
So, Torn, how does it feel to be in first place by 50 rep?
Good evening. It doesn't feel too bad, actually. Doesn't feel too bad. Yeah, but there's still 3 games to go, so it's a bit early for celebrations.
But so far you seem to be doing really well, and as I was saying for the both games I've casted so far, it's a pain in the ass to play against you guys because you never know which strat you're going to pull. Like on Crimson Strait you can go full trade, you can go full brawl into us, you can go for that sort of 4 caps thing you tried to do.
Well, yeah, we sort of every week we talk pretty in depth about our strengths and what we think is going to work well and what we know we're not as good as other teams, for instance, and we kind of like try to pick the strategy that matches that best, that we feel will work against that specific team best, actually.
I mean, you pretty much set up lost tradings against JGX on the Force map.
Yeah, that wasn't planned that way, actually. We weren't planning on losing those trades. Yeah, but that's the way it turned out.
Yeah, but
it was just really well played by
yeah, and unfortunately you lost fight over the ridge on the other side of the map. Because
yeah,
like
that was risky from the beginning because we knew they had the Stormcrow there. So that was a risk we had to take at that point since we were losing in trades and didn't really want to push onto Theta. So we decided to take that risk instead.
Yeah, and unfortunately, yes, it didn't work out, but it happens.
But it was very close, so maybe with a little bit better movement, or we could get another cap, and then it would turn on our side.
You could probably have kept Theta under control because when our light was disconnected, I sent, I think, a medium, probably Huntsman to cap Theta in front of, I think, a Summoner and an Annihilator who was at Island. We expected to lose that because of the lack of the light.
We tried to contest Theta, actually, but your Huntsman especially and both of those Annihilators really punished our 2 Annihilators too hard at that point. We just lost so much on the Annihilators trying to contest that because you had so many different angles and we only had the 2 at that point.
And if Summoner is sitting on that left side, it's really hard for him with PPCs to prevent that cup from going on.
We tried, we just couldn't do it in that moment.
Can I ask something to Thorn?
Yeah, sure.
My question is, when you have the island, basically you can hold the island, hold the top, and keep under control for caps. But since you usually tend to attack at mid or close range, why didn't you just brawl us from the tunnel? That's what we expected. Honestly, we had to start with 3 PPC mechs. We changed the last one to Stormcrow at the last second because we expected you to push in Laser Vomit from the tunnel. And
pretty much what won you the game.
Yeah, we unfortunately fortunately we don't know yet, but we scrimmed this against you 2 weeks ago, I think. This exact map set when the fixtures weren't out yet, and you also had the Stormcrow, and we got wrecked pretty bad in that scrim, largely due to the Stormcrow because that thing completely cancels out our 3 fast lights and is really able to contest them. So we actually didn't have more brawl than you. We had the 2 PPC mechs and 3 ER large mechs and 3 lights essentially, so 2 lights and 1 assassin. I don't think we could have pushed that. That was our thinking.
You got an advantage last time with the Rothneck from the top, cancelled a pair of our mechs. So this time last time when we scrimmed 2 weeks ago, I was on the Annihilator near Theta. I think I did 1,000 and something damage because it was going pretty bad. This time I went on the Night Gyre, shooting at the Rothneck that were on top because that fucking Rothneck on top pretty much cancelled half of our team.
Yeah, that worked out this time on your side because Roughneck had really problems in the trades. Therefore, was a good counter from your side.
Because we were answering with the Night Guard 4-year large and a ghost to it. Yeah. We knew it.
Look, I think we should probably wrap up around now because it's 5 AM in the morning for some folks, and also we've been running for about 2 hours now.
Yeah, thanks guys for awesome games.
You too.
Yeah, no problem. As I said during the cast, it's really interesting to cast this current season, especially Division A, because there's a lot of good teams who are constantly improving themselves, constantly finding like new strategies to play, like figure out what they're better, and it's just a really joy to see MW community getting better and better in competitive scene. So thanks again.
Well, also I'm happy to see that it's not just North America Division A getting all the attention for once, because we've traditionally not had a lot of EU matches screened. People always say, "Oh, this team's performance is a surprise." I would like that to not be the case.
Yeah, I mean that was it in previous seasons. There was always lots of streaming going on in NA. And hardly any streaming over here, so I know lots of people are really happy that you two are doing this and to enjoy the stream every week. So thanks again.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Cool. Thank you very much, guys, and thanks for everyone watching.
Have a good night.
Yep, have a good night, everybody. I think that's all for now. I'm just gonna turn off the stream and we can talk a little bit more if you want to.
Okay.
Yep, see everybody.
Thorn.